so sometimes things are tricky, you know what I mean? And it's a little bit more difficult than just making the fight happen. But like I said, I'm pushing to make the biggest and best fights happen.
And could it really be true that the feared Mexican monster, the same fighter who spent years chasing a showdown with Canelo, has now turned down a massive clash with the new pound-for-pound king, Terence Crawford?
Turkey tweeted after the Canelo-Crawford fight, asking like, hey, could you maybe come down to 168?
Shortly after the Canelo-Crawford fight, Turkey took to Twitter with a simple question that stirred up the boxing world. Hey, could you maybe come down to 168?
He hurt Canelo a couple of times, and he looked spectacular. Congratulations to Terence Crawford for that great performance, and man, it was a great fight.
Were you expecting more from Canelo?
I was expecting a lot more. I was expecting Canelo to knock out Crawford, to be honest with you, because it's a three-weight divisions. Well, he did fight one time the higher division, but and to me, it's three weights. He had to go up a lot in weight. And that's what I was expecting. But at the end of the day, I got to give respect to Canelo. He has done so much in boxing that it will be hard for somebody else to achieve and make. He trained hard, and he said that he tried, but the body did not respond. And I've been saying that, the body is worn out. Canelo is young, but in boxing life, he's worn out.
But just as quickly as the fire began to spread, David Benavidez himself doused the flames, and the reason he gave left everyone stunned. Because the real story behind his refusal wasn't just shocking, it was strategic. A move so calculated it completely rewrites what we thought we knew about his future. This isn't just another career decision, it's his final verdict on everything that came before. Benavidez is done chasing the past. He's ready to create his own legacy on a brand new battlefield. The night of September 13th was electric. Terence "Bud" Crawford did the unthinkable, moving up in weight to dismantle the legendary Canelo Alvarez.
I said to you earlier, I think Terence is really funny. I love the way he lives his life. I love the way he brings his kids. If you watch his kids with the wrestling and stuff like that, he's just a winner. And I feel that, you got guys who are really, really, really good, and they're not really hell-bent on becoming a star. I put you in that category. I put Terence in that category. Maybe Shakur, where they feel like they don't really want to. Terence ain't bothered about going to premieres and being on the front cover of magazines and stuff like that. But unfortunately, in the business, we have to try and make sure he has that kind of value commercially. So it's getting the narrative and the moments right to just showcase his personality a little bit.
While the boxing world was still trying to process Crawford's masterclass, His Excellency Turkey Alalshik wasted no time. He jumped on social media and asked, "Can David Benavidez still make 168 pounds?" And just like that, a dream fight was born. Benavidez, the undefeated two-time world champion with a terrifying 30 wins and 24 knockouts, was the boogeyman of the division, the fighter many believed Canelo had avoided for years. A matchup between Crawford's flawless skill and Benavidez's raw, destructive power instantly felt like the most logical, most explosive fight in boxing. The fans wanted it, the money was there, and the sport's biggest promoter was already teasing it.
Oh, my plan is after this fight, I want to go down to 154. No, bro. I'm done with cruiserweight. I want to take this opportunity, though. Yes, I say cruiserweight.
But what started as a dream matchup quickly turned into a baffling dead end. David Benavidez shut down the growing speculation with a statement so clear there was no room for doubt. Speaking directly to Fight Hub TV, he made his stance known. "I'm done with super middleweight," Benavidez declared.
I want to take this opportunity, though. Yes, I say cruiserweight. I want to take this opportunity to, congratulate Crawford. He put a hell of a performance. He's up there in the Mount Rushmore of the greatest fighters of all time. And, let Crawford do his thing, bro. At the end of the day, I have no interest in fighting Crawford. I have no interest in going down to 168. Yeah, it's nice that it would be dope winning all titles, but I'm way past that at 168.
The message couldn't have been clearer. This wasn't some negotiation tactic or a ploy for leverage. It was a line drawn firmly in the sand. Then came the knockout statement that crushed any remaining hope. I wouldn't even go to 168 for Canelo, he said. I'm just being real with you. Crawford's the man at 168 now. That's his division. I'm done with it.
You know, the only reason I wouldn't even go down to 168 for Canelo, and I'm just being real with you, you know, and let Crawford do his thing, let him have his, let him. I want to give his flowers, man, because he's a great fighter, man. When there's no other fighter that's coming up from 147 to beat a type of fighter like Canelo at 168, and Crawford, he's one of the greatest of all time. So, I have no interest in going down to 168. I'm not saying that I'm scared of Crawford or whatever, but Crawford's a man at 168. That's his weight class. I'm done with 168.
When asked if a jaw-dropping $120 million payday could tempt him to return, his answer was a firm, unwavering no. This wasn't about money anymore. It was about something far bigger.
Boxing is a business, David. If they throw 100 million, 120 million to go down for either or, would you second?
120 million sounds good, but honestly, at the end of the day, no. No. But they won't give 120 million. I don't even think Canelo got 120 million for fighting Crawford, to be honest with you. But no, man, I'm done with 168.
The truth behind Benavidez's decision runs much deeper than the brutal struggle of cutting weight. It's a strategic shift, a bold move toward an even more ambitious chapter in his career. He's not running from a challenge. He's running straight toward a new one.
Could throw whatever money they want at me. And my job is not only to get the money. My job is to give myself the best chance to win and to give myself the best chance of looking good.
Benavidez has found his new home in the light heavyweight division, now fighting at 175 pounds, and his sights are locked on the division's biggest names. His immediate target, a high-stakes showdown with Britain's Anthony Yarde, a fight set to unfold under the bright lights of Riyadh, Saudi Arabia.
Let me know how this fight came about, because I was surprised that you went this route with Yarde.
Yeah, so there was a lot of options on the table. Obviously we wanted to get a great fight because the last fight with me and David Benavidez lived up to expectation. I think it exceeded expectations. So we wanted to give the fans a good fight. We were in line for Bivol for the belts, but unfortunately that didn't happen. So we were looking, to get a crowd-pleasing fight, and we're trying to fight the best in the division of 175. If it's not the champions, we want to fight the next best guys. We were looking at some options, but the only one that really manifested itself was the fight with Anthony Yarde, and I think this is a crowd-pleasing fight. Anthony Yarde, he's a great fighter. He still has a ton of fight in him. He's been in there with Artur Beterbiev, Kovalev. So he's been up there with, the top guys. And I feel like this is probably going to be the most he comes prepared for any fight, because he's lost his last two title fights. And, I feel like he knows that this is probably the last opportunity. Not his last opportunity, but this is, he has to take advantage of this opportunity. So I'm not taking Anthony Yarde lightly. I know he has a dog in him. I know he has a lion in him, but, I have the lion in me as well. So this is going to be a perfect fight for my first fight with Riyadh season.
He sees this as his moment to break into global superstardom, and more importantly, as the stepping stone that will launch him straight to the top of the 175-pound division.
Like I said, I'm very grateful for this, and not only am I grateful for fighting with Riyadh season, but I'm grateful because I don't want to just be a regional fighter. I want to be a worldwide fighter, and this is the first time that I'm going to fight in a different country, in Saudi Arabia. So this is going to be it's going to be a gift for the fans in Saudi Arabia. When I went over there the first time to see Bivol and Beterbiev fight, a lot of people show love, and I know I have a lot of fans out there. So, this is going to be a great fight for all the fans in Saudi Arabia.
Benavidez believes victory is inevitable, and that it will set up a collision course with the division's most feared champions, Dmitry Bivol and Artur Beterbiev. For him, the path to legacy no longer runs through the division he once dominated, but through conquering the monsters that await at 175. He's not chasing paydays anymore. He's chasing greatness. And in his mind, that greatness lives at light heavyweight.
In this weight division, 175 pounds, you have the undisputed champion in Dmitry Bivol, who's reigning, but he has we think a rubber match with Artur Beterbiev scheduled at some point. Has it been told to you, David, that if you win this fight, you're going to get a crack at either Bivol or Beterbiev?
I mean, yeah, it's not. They haven't told me specifically that, but you know, I mean, just in the trajectory of what I'm doing, what I am. You know, I'm world champion at 175 with the WBC, so it's inevitable. It's just when it's gonna happen. You know what I mean? I take my career one fight at a time. You know what I mean? I don't really let other fights kind of get into my brain. You know, I'm getting ready for Anthony Yard. I'm 100% focused on Anthony Yard, and whatever comes next, comes next. But as for what I'm thinking of, you know, that's what else is there left? What other fights you guys want to see me fight? You know what I mean? Especially that we're here with Turkey Alalshik. We're getting these fights done. In my opinion, a fight with Benavidez or Bivol is next. You know what I mean?
But Benavidez wasn't the only one shutting down the dream matchup. In a surprising twist, even Terence Crawford's own camp seemed uninterested. Crawford's longtime trainer, Brian "Bomac" McIntyre, dismissed the rumors outright. When asked about the potential clash, he didn't mince words. "No, we ain't doing that fight." Bomac made it clear. Crawford had just gone through a brutal 6-month camp to dethrone Canelo. And right now, rest and recovery were the only things on the agenda.
You know what? We're going to get back in the gym. We're going to get back in the gym, and we're going to assess that. And, you know, right now I just want him to go on vacation, have some fun, spend time with his family, man, because we trained for like probably a half a year for that fight. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of time spent away from home, a lot of time spent away from the family. So I just want him to just go get back home.
He wanted his fighter to relax, go on vacation, and spend time with his family, not rush straight into another grueling negotiation. Bomac's comments exposed a key truth. This fight was never really on the table. The real story wasn't that Benavidez ducked Crawford, but that both men were simply moving in different directions. Two elite fighters, each chasing legacy on their own terms, just not through each other.
Canelo?
Turkey dropped. People are talking about it. Turkey hit it at that. He was like Benavidez.
Yeah, he
Turkey,
did.
So.
Turkey just posted that this morning, wondering if Benavidez can make 168. Maybe he has plans or ideas of maybe trying to match up Benavidez and Terence Crawford.
No,
there.
we ain't doing that fight.
Maybe planning on vacating the belts.
No, we ain't gonna vacate the belts. You know, we just gonna sit where we need to sit for a minute, and then, just like I said, get back in the gym and do our thing.
To truly understand Benavidez's mindset, you have to rewind to the years he spent chasing Canelo Alvarez, a pursuit that defined, and in many ways, frustrated his entire run at 168. He was younger, hungrier, and more dangerous than anyone in the division, yet the fight he wanted most never came. That endless pursuit changed him. It wasn't just a professional setback, it was personal. After years of being the boogeyman no one wanted to face, Benavidez isn't just leaving the division. He's freeing himself from it. He's done waiting.
You know, I think the type of person that Canelo is, he's going to be, oh, well, I didn't prepare for that fight, but now I'm prepared, this and that. You know, there's another storyline behind that. Because of the way he lost. He didn't go in there and get just beat up and destroyed the whole fight. It just didn't look like he prepared at all. And the fighter that was prepared, was Crawford. So, there could still be a big storyline, 175. Like I said, he could say, oh, well, now I'm motivated. Now I have a reason to train, now this and that. And it'll be a title fight for 175. So, everything is still possible right now. Then Canelo, what is he, like 35?
I think it's 33.
33, yeah, and then imagine Crawford was 38. So I mean, I'm not focused on Canelo. I got my own stuff going on, but if there might be a way to make that fight happen. So like I said, I'm not really worried about that. I'm just thinking about the fighters I got to take out.
Watching Crawford do what he never could, dismantle the man who'd eluded him for years, might have been the final push Benavidez needed. To him, it wasn't just about skill. It was about mentality. Crawford treated Canelo like the mountain he had to climb, while Canelo, Benavidez believed, let pride dull his edge. That loss exposed something deeper, and for Benavidez, it settled everything. By shutting the door on 168, he's not just moving up in weight, he's closing the Canelo chapter for good, choosing to write his own story instead of chasing someone else's.
Money that Canelo was making, And I know all these people say, oh, yeah, talking shit about Canelo. I'm not talking shit about him. He just didn't look like he really prepared 100%. He's throwing 10 punches around, or I think it was his ego is that big that he thought that, oh, I'm just going to walk through him, catch him with a good shot, and it's going to be done. As you can see, Crawford is a different type of fighter. Not only does he have the boxing IQ, he has that dog in him. He was in there. He was brawling. If I'm being honest with you, bro, I'm not happy that he lost. I kind of feel like that could have been me. That was my moment. You know what I mean? If I would have gone in there, I know I would have beat him. You know what I mean? So I don't want to be a hater, but that's kind of how I feel. But you know what I mean? I give all the flowers to Crawford. You know what I mean?
That should have been me in there. That should have been my.
If I would have got that fight.
This resolve isn't just about boxing. It's the product of a man who's rebuilt himself from the inside out. Benavidez isn't the wild kid who once let fame and frustration steer him off course. He's faced his demons, owned his mistakes, and turned them into fuel. Now, his discipline runs deeper than the gym. He talks about prayer, meditation, and living with intention, about being a better father, husband, and human being. That inner clarity has reshaped his vision. He's not chasing hype anymore. He's chasing history. So when he says no to Crawford, it isn't pride. It's purpose. The decision of a man finally in control of his destiny, ready to define greatness on his own terms.
Spar with Bivol.
And you were younger.
I was 22. From seeing what I did to him in those sparring sessions, I'm very confident I'd win. But I'm not gonna, be a fool and just use confidence as the 100% fuel. I'm gonna go in there and work extremely hard.
You're looking to go up to 175 pounds and potentially get the winner out of Benavidez and Bivol.
That's why I want to be a part of these big fights too, because as you know, both you guys know, once you get a really good fighter in front of you, the training camp is different. The mentality is different. And when you get in that ring, you shine. That's what I want for myself. I want to be put in them hard positions where you have to use 100% of your skills. And that's why I feel like the best will come out of me. So I'm not scared of it. So whatever it is, even if light heavyweight isn't my final destination, I really want to go up to cruiserweight.
Ooh, so that's cruiserweight, just another, you're a weight class away from going to actual heavyweight.
Yeah. But we're going to move one step at a time. We got light heavyweight. That's a division I've been wanting to go to for a long, long time.
With the Crawford dream fight officially buried, David Benavidez is blazing his own trail, one that stretches far beyond the light heavyweight division. If matchups with Bivol or Beterbiev don't come to life, he's ready to climb even higher, eyeing a colossal all-Mexican war with Zurdo Ramirez at cruiserweight. To him, it's not about chasing money or headlines. It's about legacy, about proving he's willing to face any monster in any division. While some may call it a duck, others see it as the boldest move of his career, a fighter refusing to follow the script and instead writing his own. Benavidez isn't retreating from greatness. He's charging straight into the unknown, where every punch could either crown him a multi-division legend or break his unbeaten run forever. One thing's certain, the Mexican monster isn't waiting for anyone's approval. He's hunting for his own crown.